Hi everyone, Matt, CEO of Inception Labs, and today I'm going to be talking about Valor, our high-stim pre-workout. Now, Valor as a pre-workout is the most powerful, legally available pre-workout in New Zealand, and that's because of the depth of the ingredient profile. But most importantly, even though it gives an extreme focus and pump, it doesn't do it through the dangerous use of stimulants. So this pre-workout isn't about smashing your adrenal system as hard as we can with caffeine and other stimulants. It's more about balancing some stimulant with nootropics and using nootropics to increase the focus that you need in the gym. Now, this pre-workout can actually also be taken as a half serve, just like our fat burner 1510, and that means that as a beginner, you can use a pre-workout that's formulated to the level of Valor, but you can use it as your first pre-workout you've ever used in the gym, and it's completely safe. Clearly, you're not going to get the pump, you're not going to get the energy that you'll get from a full dose, but allows you to assess your tolerance before you step up to a full dosage in the gym. Now, what makes Valor so good? What's our ingredient profile? So first off, we have a very similar three-stage caffeine release to our 1510 fat burner. Now, the three-stage release in Valor is caffeine, green coffee, and theobromine. Now, like 1510, we don't want to get a huge surge of energy to then have the crash. You don't want that with any pre-workout. Nobody wants to take their pre, go to the gym, feel great for an hour, and then crash on their way to work. We want a nice pickup and then a slow, sustained release as you go through your day. In the case of Valor, you're looking at about a 6-hour release system. So you're going to get a very quick hit when you go to the gym, and then it's going to slowly taper off. And that's also through the use of adaptogens in the pre-workout. And those adaptogens help to protect our adrenal system so we don't get unwanted cortisol surges. One of the problems with a lot of the high stimulant pre-workouts is they hit your adrenal system so hard that you get a surge of adrenaline. With that surge of adrenaline, your body gets put under stress, you get a surge of cortisol, and cortisol is our stress hormone. It's something we don't want in our system. It tells us to hold fat. It tells us to go into that protective state. It tells us to be catabolic with regards to muscle. So you want to minimize your cortisol, and having a slow stage released caffeine system like there is in Valor enables that to happen. Now we get a pump from Agmas, L-norvaline, and S7. So you've got two patented ingredients in there, both clinically dosed, which are going to give you a nice full pump, but not over the top. So we don't want to actually impinge on our range of motion. We want to allow the nitric oxide to build up in the muscle, but also to be recycled and disposed of when it gets to an excessive level. And using that three ingredient profile of Agmas, L-norvaline, and S7 allows that to happen. We then have our nootropic profile, and this is really where Valor steps into its own. My own personal background, having a PhD in psychology, I studied some neuropharmacology as part of my studies, and nootropics were really something which just grabbed my attention and I've been interested in ever since. And Valor contains alpha-GPC, L-tyrosine, taurine, and bitter orange, which when you put them all together, they basically work as what's called a sympathomimetic. And a sympathomimetic is essentially a stimulant for our cognitive system. So it gives us that focus in the gym without hitting the adrenal system. We don't want to be overstimulating our adrenal system, as I said earlier in the video, for cortisol. So this allows us to get that laser focus without damaging the adrenal system and all of the nasty side effects that come with that. Now finally, and somewhat basically, we have a clinical dosage of beta-alanine at 3.2 grams. It's a very basic ingredient, but it is essential in a pre-workout. It's one that most pre-workouts contain because it's what gives you the tingles, that itchiness, which everybody thinks is somehow a symptom of the pre-workout working. It's just a lactic acid buffer for our muscles that stops cramping. It allows us to train longer and train for harder, so we include a clinical dosage of that. And then finally, we include a patented ingredient called estrogen, and that's for cellular recovery. So when we go in the gym, when we train hard, we're tearing up muscle fibers, we need to be thinking about recovery. And so by including a clinical dose of estrogen, it allows that cellular recovery to happen after you've trained. So you're going to feel more refreshed, more recovered, and able to train again the next day. And that's what it's all about. You've got to be able to train day on day on day. So you need to look after your adrenal system. You need to look after your cellular recovery. And that's what Valor's designed for. It's designed to be a pre-workout that, while it gives you the energy and it gives you the pump, it also looks after you. Thanks for listening.